The door frame shook at the edge. The eerie blob pushed its abhorrent self through. Of course, it's back. Okay, we're back with more Iwaihime. Let's continue. And I don't like where it's going and right now. But it can't be any worse than the whole war thing from the previous, from with Ruria stuff, right? Right?
おはよう。具合大丈夫？
ちょっと寝つけなくて寝不足かも。
平気？休んだら？
全然平気。私こう見えても解禁を狙ってるからね。
そっか。無理はしないでね。
Kiko had lied. She wasn't just a little sleep deprived. In fact, she hadn't slept at all. She'd been far too afraid. By following her daily routine and going to school, she figured she'd start feeling better. But things didn't go so well. Something terrifying had returned. That fear had seized her heart since the night before. She couldn't get it out of her mind. It was like she could feel his revolting stare on her 24/7. She tried to remember who he was, but she couldn't. Wouldn't let herself. Regardless, he had told her this last time they'd seen each other. I'll be back for you, Kiko, I promise. But who is it?
どうしたの？キコちゃん。
ごめん。
ハルミヤ、さっきから後ろばっか振り返ってるぜ。
自転車に乗ってるときはあまりそういうのは良くないと思うな。
ごめん。私はいい子だから車が来ないかいつも安全確認を怠らないの。
なんかグレートなことでもしたか？まるで尾行を気にしてるスパイみたいだぜ。
え？尾行って？
いや、そういうのじゃなくて、誰かがじっと私を見てるんじゃないかなって思って。ほら、私キュートだしね。ラブレターを渡すタイミングを測ってる誰かの目線かもしれないし。
なんだか微笑ましいね。
チェ、ラブレターなんざ下駄箱にでも突っ込めばいいものをよ。
手渡しだからこそ伝わる心もあるんじゃないかな。
ラブレターはトラップカードだぜ。先回りして仕掛けるのが王道ってもんさ。
Matsuya then went off into a tangent about trading cards, dragging Suzumu in along with him. Even Kiko was a little less paranoid about her surroundings on the rest of their way to school. Oddly enough, I was unusually attentive in classes today, though perhaps that was just another form of escapism. Humans can enjoy slight discomfort or two if it means avoiding something even more dreadful. Someone had been staring at me this whole time. I could feel it. They'd been watching me the whole day. No, they were observing me. The way an owner with their pet hamster in its cage. That gaze seemed loving on the surface, but something far more vile and sinister lay behind it. I panicked. The more I thought about it, the harder it grew to breathe. The teacher left after announcing we had a study hall period, leaving the classroom in a festive mood, but I couldn't hear any of those usual hustle and bustle. All of a sudden, the classroom door opened. A gargantuous blob of skin-colored meat was standing there. Came literally out of nowhere with no prior warning. The soft, flabby blob reminded me of a repulsive, obese stomach. So tall and thick that it flooded the whole door. The door frame shook at the edge. The eerie blob pushed its abhorrent self through. Of course, this shit's back. The blob grunted the same thing over and over. All of a sudden, I realized it sounded like it was saying Kiko, and when I did, the blob ominous sounds turned into my name. My whole body broke out into chills and goosebumps. Icy needles pierced my brain all over. Even my heart froze with revulsion when I realized that Blob was looking for me.
何言ってんの？わけわかんない。
And again, I'm realizing that the Blob was never really explained in any of their previous things. The door frame creaked loudly like it would break apart at any moment. The Blob surged into the classroom at that moment and pounded the blackboard. It spewed something like squalid gravy all over it.
自習してろって言っただろう。遊んでいい時間じゃないんだぞ。
Wait, what?
お前ら来年は受験なんだぞ。いつまで気楽なつもりでいるんだ。
Yeah, that definitely sounds like the same voice that does the Blob. It was just a regular fat Japanese teacher. He was angry the class had ignored his instructions and used it as an excuse to chat with one another. I gasped for air my lungs sorely craved. Did I have another daydream?
大丈夫？キコちゃん。
Suzumu called out to me from behind and placed a comforting hand on my shoulder. But then, I felt something disgusting and sweaty press against my cheek. I turned around and shut around and realized what I thought was Suzumu was instead a greasy obese blob. I flashed its plague-infested teeth into a smile, laughing with its rotten breath. The moment I tried to look away, it seized my face with what appeared to be its arm of fleshy protrusions. Its thick lips closed in on me, and with a sloppy sound it planted those giant leashes right on my face. And I realized how disgusting thing had given me a kiss, something in me just snapped.
キコちゃん、具合大丈夫？
Kiko hadn't been looking good this morning, and it seemed she wasn't doing any better. Fortunately, we didn't have club today. Even if we did, I would have asked Kiko to take the day off.
大丈夫だよ。そんな具合悪くない。
She put on a brave face, but there was bags under her eyes, and that wasn't the end of it. She kept cowering from something. Just now, she reacted to the sound of a student rolling their bike out to go home as though glasses shattered nearby.
国語の時間が終わってから顔色が悪いよ。
授業中にぼんやりしてて変な白昼夢を見ちゃったみたいで。
So she'd face another haunting. Poor thing. Just how much did she know all of them suffer from hauntings when I wasn't around? I had to save them. Oh, I wasn't sure exactly how to do that. Regardless, I clenched my fists and made my vow.
その夢がずいぶんと気持ち悪かったみたいで。へへへ。
かわいそうに。それでずっと気分が落ち込んでたの？
まあ、そんなところ。
Just like dreams, hauntings probably had varying degrees of vividness. So it was highly likely the one she had during Japanese was very detailed. Most dreams are forgotten upon waking, but this one appeared to be an exception.
どんな夢を見たのか知らないけど、夢は夢だよ。
そうだよね。
ましてやそれが楽しい夢でなかったなら、さっさと忘れちゃうのが一番だと思うけどな。
そうだね。
Fair. I felt so bad. It was really getting to her, and to find a way to lift her spirits.
そうだ、キコちゃん。
何？
You seemed surprised by my sudden shift in attitude. This might be a little pushy, but I had to cheer her up.
帰りにさ、ゲームセンターでも寄ってかない？
何突然。
ほら、前にキコちゃんがナツくんと一緒にやってたゲーム、なんて言ったっけ？
黄金 送曲ダブルクロスゴールデンパニッシャー SR2 デラックスターボ。
The fuck is that name?
そうそう、そんな名前のやつ。夏くんと楽しそうに遊んでたんで、僕も一緒にやれたらなって思ってさ。キコちゃん上手だったから教えてもらいたいなって。
いいけど、できたらまた今度がいいかな。
そんなこと言わないでさ。頼むよ、キコちゃん。
People want to be alone when they're feeling down, but that never makes them feel any better. A helping hand is the best medicine. After I got a bit aggressive with my offer, Kiko finally gave in, though she barely looked up toward. But she always had fun at that arcade. I was sure this would be just if he could cheer her up. We rode our bikes and headed off to the arcade in front of the train station. Suddenly, Kiko stopped her bike and stared down an alleyway.
どうしたの？
あそこ。
And did his ass and saw a plump older man crouching in the shadows of the alley, fiddling with his bike. Apparently, the chain had gotten loose and he was trying to fix it. Kiko probably thought he had fallen and hurt himself.
大丈夫ですか？手伝いましょうか？
やっぱ自転車屋じゃないとダメだな。
The man sighed and started pushing his bike away. After we said our goodbyes, I headed back to Kiko.
大丈夫？
大丈夫そうだったよ。怪我をしたわけじゃないみたい。
怪我をしたの？
怪我はしてないよ。チェーンが外れただけだよ。
チェーン？
Of course, from her point of view, it's different. Kiko took another anxious look down the alley. The man had vanished into the crowds while we were talking.
行こ
うん。
We started pedaling again. The arcade was close.
う。あれ？なんだろう。すごい人だかり。
A large crowd of bikes and excited people were stationed in front of the arcade.
自転車止められるところあるかな？隣のお店の前とかに止めるわけにはいかないからね。ちょっと見てくるよ。
I couldn't tell if there was a spot to park with all these people there, so I just got ahead. The crowd was gathered around some drum game near the front of the arcade. The players were wearing fashion straight from the big cities, and everyone was either filming or taking photos of them. Maybe they were famous gamers or streamers or something. Whatever the case, they seemed like they'd mastered the game. But only the front was crowded. The rest of the arcade was the same as always. I quickly found 2 spots for our bikes.
大丈夫そうだよ。
大丈夫そうって本気で？
自転車も止められるし、混んでるのは入り口だけだったよ。
What is she seeing? We're going from to her point of view. What was Susan was thinking? How could he say it was okay after seeing that? Was he blind? The arcade entrance was flooded with blobs and dripping juices, wasn't it? And the inside was bursting with these giant, disgusting blobs. You could see something like blood vessels on their skin wriggling like earthworms from time to time. They vibrated all over as though they spotted me and were gesturing me over. Suzumu couldn't see them. He didn't see the blobs peeking out from the shadows, moaning again and again for me to come on over.
どうしたの？顔色悪いよ。
ごめん。
God.
私先に帰るね。
え、キコちゃん？
Suzumu couldn't see them. No, no one could. Only me. Suzumu couldn't see the blobs at the arcade, and he hadn't seen that blob in the alley before either. That was why he'd been saying some nonsense about chain. I left Suzumu and my bike behind and broke off to a dash. Figured running would get me out of there faster than taking the time to get on a bike and pedal away. After all, the whole town was crawling with those things. Blobs popped up on for another alley, shops, shutters, outdoor units. They were all coming from everywhere. And they were all calling my name. calm down. I had to calm down. There's no way those things were actually there. This had to be another one of those terrible daydreams I always had. I couldn't let it affect me. I couldn't. Yeah, that's very good. And you're back.
つばきこちゃん、すっかり美人さんになったな。
And over here, a pair of eyes peeked from behind cover. Their gaze never left Subukiko's back as she
あ
ran.
の頃の僕だけのスイートエンジェルだったつばきこちゃんとは別人になっちゃったけど、
Who the fuck are you?
女子高生になったつばきこちゃんも全然 OK だよ。すぐに迎えに行くからね。そしたら今度こそお嫁さんにしてあげるからね。
He started to slap as he spoke those repulsive words. He got drool stains all over his filthy shirt. His unkempt upbeat appearance appeared somewhat resemble the blob Subukiko feared.
4年ぶりだと街もずいぶん変わるな。でもパパ、ちゃんと約束通りに帰ってきたよ。
There's no way that's her dad.
パパ、9年間のお仕事大変だったけど、ずっと魚女への愛、ずっと貫いてたんだよ。君も9年間僕の帰り待っててくれたよね。待たせてごめんね。すぐ迎えに行くからね。ブシー。
The man's ominous figure faded into the darkness as he guzzled down his saliva again. All that was left was a rank stench of sweat. Well, that was a real short episode for Iwaihime. But that gave me at least that one gave me some answers of why is that blob connected to Subukiko? Who the hell? I mean, I think is that weird guy really her dad, or is it maybe stepdad? I don't know. I have no idea. Well, maybe we'll find out next time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode of Iwaihime. If you did, subscribe, check out other stuff I've done, and see you next time. Bye bye.